And so I'm going to move it down here. Actually, I think this is actually a little larger. Obviously, it is a little larger. But this is the smallest size that you can have on a CCTV. Now, depending on the size of print you're dealing with, obviously the size on the screen is going to be a little smaller or a little larger. So, you know, even when you're dealing with the smallest size, say you have like a reasonably large text and you put it under there, it's only going to be a little larger with this setting, because this is the smallest size that the VTech can handle, the CCTV can handle. It's also called a VTech, by the way, by some. And so I'm going to invert the color so I can see what I'm doing here. And actually, I usually prefer to keep it on the color setting when I'm reading just a standard textbook, just because it's usually the screen appears fuller and there's more contrast in that regard. And so now let me magnify by using this button here. Let me magnify up to as high as the VTech CCTV can go. So we can go clear, and you notice the focus starts getting crummy. So once I magnify, and this is as large as the VTech can magnify. Again, if you have a larger text you're dealing with than the text here, it'll be even larger. But now I'm going to have to adjust the focus. So I adjust the focus by using this dial. See if I can get it just right. It's good as it's going to go. It looks like great. Right there. And the focus isn't the best in the world at this size, but this is as good as it's going to get. So let me see if I can find where this starts. Again, working at this level of magnification, even for me, is difficult. Okay, so it starts right there. You see the number 1, and then urbe. And then I have to move very slowly because of the size. If you move the tray table really a lot, you're not going to be able to see anything because you're going too fast. Or at least I won't be able to see anything. So urbem Romam Principio Reges, etc. Habuere. So again, that's really difficult for me to read. So I'm going to move it back down using that magnification wheel about to here, and I'm going to see if I can change the focus a little more back to where I need it to be, about there. So I think again, there are many CCTVs that have a lot more functionality than this. This is just your basic model. Some of them you can actually put a text under them and scan it ahead of time. You can take a picture of it. The camera has capability to take a picture of the text, and then you can just take the text off of the tray table and just read what's been saved. So basically, some of these CCTVs have a little computer in them, right? All right. So now I'm going to, just for the sake of example, I'm going to take this book off, and I'm going to get a box of Tyson chicken Anytizers, and I'm going to show you how I read the cooking instructions under the CCTV. Now, obviously, since I can't see all the print on here to begin with, with just looking at the box normally, sometimes I have to put it under here to figure out where exactly the cooking instructions are, right? And so, because there's so much color and the color is inverted, so it makes the color look really weird, and for me it makes the, what I'm reading really chaotic, I have to, I would prefer to just have the black and white. So I'm going to change from color, inverted color rather, to inverted black and white. So it takes a little bit of time, there it is. And so I notice, and of course I've looked at this in advance, so I'm going a little quicker than I would otherwise if I just looked at this box. But for the sake of argument, I'm looking around, I notice that there are no cooking instructions here. So I assume, and as a blind person you do a lot of assuming, just through the logic and what you've experienced before to make things quicker. So I assume anyway that the cooking instructions are on the back. And so I'm just going to flip it over, put it under here again, and I need to change the focus a little bit so it's clear. And I'm going to look for the microwave instructions. There's conventional oven. So I'm going to have to probably move down here. I would assume that they're somewhere around here, the microwave instructions, and there they are. So microwave. I'm going to have to put this down a little bit. The magnification. So arrange frozen chicken pieces in a circle on microwave save plate, number 1. And leaving center open. You have number 2, heat uncovered on high. So half box for 1 to 1.5 minutes, whole box for 2 to 2.5 minutes. And we have number, oh, we don't have a number there. It just says do not overheat. And then number 3, let stand 2 to 3 minutes before serving. And then you just have the note about appliances vary, etc., etc. And of course, what I would normally do is I would either, when I was actually performing the instructions, I would either memorize them, because obviously I have to take the box out here and I have to open it up and all that. I'd either memorize them or I would take like notes on my computer and I'd actually kind of type out sort of in shorthand what these said. And then I just kind of like bring my computer in there, print out a large print paper recording of with the notes I took down, and then just use that. But I mean, obviously this is very simple for these, and so I wouldn't necessarily need to write it all down. What I usually do is I just write the time down, and because obviously most of the instructions here are pretty obvious. So, in any case, put this over here. So I hope this presentation was at least somewhat informative to you. For those of you who are watching this as a part of a presentation I'm doing from my college residence hall, if you want to see more of these presentations, you can go to www.youtube.com/Aurora Nebulosa. The last part of that is spelled AURORANEBULOSA. And that's my YouTube channel, and if you go there, you can go to playlists and find the Through My Eyes playlist. And then you can look at the rest of my presentation. So, again, I'll be doing question time in another video segment here, just because I've kind of gone over time in this particular presentation. I'm also again using this for those who've always watched on YouTube. I'm using this particular segment for a blindness awareness presentation for my residence hall, and I don't want to bore them, no offense, but with all the questions I've received on here, because I'm sure they have questions of their own. So in any case, I'm going to sign off, and I hope you found this educational as well as entertaining.
Mouse to view.
So I'm going to use my Zoom text on my computer to figure out where the stop button is.
Tooltip record. Tooltip record.